Hello, everybody. Welcome to Avini Vibes. Today is August 29th, 2024. Wow, summer's gone, as we said last week. And, I walked out my backyard today. We're very, very blessed to live here in New York and we have a beautiful landscape. But what's crazy is all the leaves were coming down. So I have to take care of all the leaves and in the process of fall in the air, right? So I'm not ready for it, but we're ready for it tonight because we're going to talk tonight about an adventure machine. So before we went on this live tonight, we had the opportunity to share or talk a little bit with Wendy Snow and Chip. And Chip is now Chip/Marcy, but we're talking about the body. The body is an incredible machine. However, sometimes the body has issues. Sometimes the body gets clog, gets stalled, gets things going on in the body. So we're going to talk a little bit about the body tonight. And I see tonight we may have some guests, but we have a lot of distributors. We're so blessed to have an amazing, amazing company, Avini Health, that has second to none products, but more. I want to say, the genius behind it. I had an opportunity to do a call with Rik Deitsch, our biochemist, today, and oh my gosh, like blew me away. Like he's so smart. And then to hear Neil Roth, our CEO, and all the people that are part of this company. So I just want to open it up tonight to have Wendy share a little bit about what's going on in her life and why she got involved with Avini, and open it up to you too. So Wendy, thanks for joining us tonight. You're in Northern California and you're in Happy Valley.
I
I
am.
told you I'm a Penn Stater, so that's Happy Valley is our little
That's awesome. Yeah,
tagline. But
thank
you're
you
on
for
the other
having
side of
me.
the country and you're in Happy Valley.
I am.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about what's going on in your life, please.
Well, I mean, I started with Avini a year and a half ago. I was busy doing another company, so I was just, doing my thing and loving that. And Tony Abeta tapped me on the shoulder, and I was like, I really do not, not really interested. And she got Doug on the phone, and Doug started talking about obesogens, and that really got my attention because as a personal trainer in the years past, there's a lot of people that I've trained that just could not, lose weight, especially as we get older around the middle. And I myself was one of them. So I was very intrigued. And when he started explaining how these, the fat wraps around the metals to protect you, which is called obesogens, and that's, part of God's way of protecting us. And I just thought, wow, this is amazing. And the more I heard, the more I really was like, how can I not be a part of this company? Like when you start talking about skincare and collagen and all of that, it just sounds so superficial when you're talking about something like this that is so fundamentally, I mean, you have to clean the inside of your body, and no one talks about this. I had never heard about before, so I thought this could be a game changer for me. I didn't realize that I have been setting tile and painting and remodeling homes for 26 years. And while that's all great and everything, I didn't realize how many toxins I have been inhaling and getting in my skin for all these years. And so I thought I was, going to help everyone else. We're going to lose some weight. Little did I know that this is much bigger than that. I mean, it is so much bigger. So one of the girls on my team, Ginger, she's just a sweetheart. She works for a company in California. It's a comp company, workman's comp, and she said one of her number one clients are tile setters because they all have things with their lungs going on. They all have these issues after years of inhaling. Because think about it, as you're cutting tile, all that's going right in your nose. It's on your skin, and so that was eye opening. And I would say for the last probably since January, when I really started taking Cell Defender faithfully. I was always giving it to my friends instead of myself. And when I started taking it faithfully myself, I started noticing I have like rashes or like kind of open sores on my skin. And I realized, because I thought, well, maybe it's from the silver. No, that is the toxins coming out of my body through my skin. So not only am I flushing it, it's coming out however it can. And I'm sure it'll take a long time to, I mean, 26 years is a long time. So that's kind of exciting and scary and all that at the same time for me, because that was very like, wow, I didn't realize I'm just making a living. And now when I think about how many people I know in construction, concrete, and painters, they're inhaling that all the time. You guys reach out to those people because they need help. So fast forward to this summer, my dad has a blood disorder, one of those things that is lifelong. Once you've been sentenced, they want to do chemo, radiation, and it's not pretty. Last year, he spent, I think, over 20 days at Stanford here in California. And then he came home, had to go to a program to just pretty much learn how to walk again. He was so weak, and he's in his 80s. And they want him on chemotherapy like every week. He's going to be doing it, or at least every 3 weeks. So they're constantly doing his blood. And his platelets are very low. The last time they were 31.59 or 89, something like that. And that's very low. And I kept begging my mom, please just try this product. I'll buy it for you. I don't care. And she's like, I'm open to it, but your dad won't take it. I said, don't even ask him, just put it in his mouth. And she was like, well, I could do that. So I went ahead and they ordered some cell defender, and my dad started taking it. I think it was around the beginning of June. I wish I would have written down exactly when, but within 3 weeks, my mom called me so excited. They went to the doctors and his platelets went up to 71. And
Wow.
she goes, bless her heart, she goes, I have been giving him some tuna, so it could be the tuna.
It's not the
not
tuna.
the tuna. There's probably mercury in the tuna.
Really?
Not the tuna. I said, just keep giving it to him. But if you could do me a favor and do it twice a day. And she's like, well, I'll try to do that. So fast forward to 8/19, she called me elated. They were 112. And the doctor kind of said, well, I don't really think we need to do chemo this week, or maybe we'll just do a couple days, but I think it's working. And of course, in my head, I'm like, it's not the chemo.
Wow.
So yeah, they're pretty
31.
excited. Yeah, from 31 to 112 just over this summer period.
I have a
So,
client that's similar. So to see that same thing, see that elevation, wow. So thank God.
yeah. And my background and my other companies, I'm a social media girl, and I know a lot of people don't like social media and it's not really their gig. That's how I build my business. I like being in my garden or with my animals, and I like to check online and meet people from New York, from wherever that I wouldn't meet personally. So I do a lot of curiosity posts. I've learned how to, how to navigate the Facebook platform and TikTok and all that. And it's fascinating how many people will reach out and message you and say, hey, how'd your dad do that, or what's going on? That one post I did Tuesday, I call it Testimonial Tuesday. I have 13 people that are asking me, what did you do? What can I do? How do I find out more? So yeah.
Did you take a
Pretty
clip
exciting.
did you take a clip out of the interview that you did? Because I know you did an interview.
Nope.
You
All
wrote
I
a little
posted,
clip?
all I did was said, what did something about my, I'm so happy to announce my dad, who's been struggling with low platelets. I gave him one simple thing to do, and within 3 months, his platelets have gone from this to this. Praise God! And I did a picture of my dad. That's it. So I don't say Avini. I don't say anything about the product, because they're going to go Google it and they're going to go, oh my God, it's $80. They don't have any value, and then are on to the next thing. So you really have to build this curiosity. And then once you do that, I have a platform, a little group page called Get the Heavy Metals Out. And they asked me, well, what did you do? I say, I go to Messenger, private message them, and I say, thank you so much for asking. Isn't that crazy? How have you been? Did you want to treat it as if you were talking to them in person? You just don't want to sell them. You want to ask them what's going on with you. And I say, I'll tell you what, I would love to send you an invite to a page where we offer solutions and talk about the problems, and you can kind of just feel your way around. And when, if you ever want to know more about it, I would love to send you my link. So I don't go in for the kill. I'm not gonna, I'm fishing for the long term. So I put them in that page, and so it's called ad, ATM, ad, and then I tag them on a post. Like I'll put their name and say, whatever, blow. Here's, look at this, like I put on there my interview that day or whatever, or another site that might talk about, different things about Cell Defender. And then I go back at the end part of the ATM, I go back and I message them maybe a day later, 2 days, and say, hey, how you doing, Joe? I just want to make sure you're getting the messages. Isn't that page great? I'm glad you joined. I hope you have a fabulous day. Again, I don't say, are you ready to order? What do you think? I just get the commission breath out of my mouth, and I just be their friend and love on them and try to add value to their life. And they will come back around. And let's say they don't come back around. They're going to get message. They're going to get a notification every single day is on my page. And they're going to go back there and be, oh yeah, I wanted to order that. Oh, well, that was fascinating. So I'm not selling them. The page is doing all the work. ATM.
Very good.
It's brilliant, and it works.
Beautiful.
Very, very powerful. But the proof is in the pudding, and the proof is in your
Yeah, absolutely.
your dad's walk, and what went on with your dad and his levels. So we know, and because Doug has been to New York, but Doug also has been to you. Doug is here to support all of us as Neil and the company is to support of how we share. So how we share with people of saving lives. I was on a call the other day with Rik, with 3 doctors, and it was intense. I mean, I have to tell you, intense conversation, like way, way over biochemistry over my head. But I was taking notes like crazy. But what was so beautiful was that how he could answer anything and everything. And the first and foremost was about saving lives. Like that was it. Like that's the note I took about saving lives.
Well, that's the culture here. That's all
Right?
our culture is that. And I love that.
Isn't it beautiful? Like it's so beautiful. Anybody want to jump in, ask Wendy a question? She's here, all the way from California. I don't know if we have a guest, Sharina, I don't know if you're a distributor, but feel free to unmute and jump in and ask her a question, or the way she shares, or what she's doing. She's been a personal trainer, but she's also in health and wellness, but she's also out there laying tile. Oh my God, like that's not easy. I did it once with my neighbors. I hired my neighbor and he made me work, and like, wow, it's not easy. It's hard work.
No.
Yeah.
And just so you know, Christine, you set tile, you lay carpet, babe.
Oh.
It's an old joke.
Yeah. But cool. Yeah. So anybody unmute, please unmute and join us, because Pat and Dave are here. They're cool too. Gary's in New England. Gary's in my part of the world. So Gary and I are going to work together. It's exciting because, Wendy, the Northeast is people say it's hard, but I grew up here in New Jersey. I guess I have a New Jersey slang, but we're going to build New Jersey too with your help. And so thanks for sharing, because everybody needs Cell Defender. Everybody needs the tip of the spear. Everybody needs to get the metals out, right? So however we have to do it, we're going to do it.
Christine,
Carol, please jump in.
Yeah, I'd like to share, because I have a guest on and she hasn't actually heard my story around Cell Defender, and I'd like to share my story with people haven't heard it that are on here. So guys, I had bad cells on my shoulder 2 years ago, January, and I went through horrific surgeries, 2 of them, because he didn't get it all the first time. And I can't take any kind of pain pills. I can't take anything for pain. And I was really not doing well for about 7 weeks, where I wasn't on the computer, I wasn't on my phone, I couldn't take calls. I was screaming into my pillow at night in pain, and I had to sleep sitting up. So I was not in a good place, and I was very weak because when you are in pain, you don't want to eat. So I wasn't eating well. I was really in a bad place. And about 2 months from that time, I was going to have to be delivering an entrepreneurial course online to many, many students. And I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. I'm too old. I'm too weak. I can't do this. And then Christine, my angel, she got in touch with me and told me, and I got on Cell Defender. And guys, she had me taking a lot more of it than what you normally do to be able to really and truly quickly have a result. And in 4 days, I was running up and down the stairs. I was cooking again. I was taking myself to the bathroom. Nobody had to walk me over to the bathroom any longer. I mean, and I said, Christine, is this legal? I was like, what is this? But I'm telling you, it had made such a difference for me. And what I was not really looking for a business. I already run 4 businesses. I run a social media business, Wendy. So I already had businesses. I was not looking for a business, but I will tell you this, I couldn't not share this with people because it made such an impact in my life. And then I shared it with my brother, and he has an amazing story. And Shireen, I will share it with you at some point, but I'm just telling you, I share this with everyone because I know that it saves lives. I know that it makes a difference in cleaning your system out from the toxins and being able to have a healthy system that works at ultimate level. I know what it does for you, and I will never not be on Cell Defender. So that's my story, and I just wanted to share it with Shireen. Thank you guys.
Well, Carol, Carol, do you want to share your brother's story? Is pretty amazing.
It is very
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
It is very amazing.
Tell that story.
I will. Okay, I will. So my brother, he, when we had all the vaccines going on, he took one of the vaccines, and about I'm going to say no more than about 4 weeks after this vaccine was taken off the market, he started having these severe symptoms. He had ringing in his ears. He had double vision. And my brother's an athlete. He plays pickleball. He plays golf. So this changed his whole life. And for 15 months, guys, he lived inside of, he couldn't golf any longer. He couldn't play pickleball. He couldn't drive. And my brother is, this really set him back. And I said, Dean, I don't know what this will do for you. We never know, guys, because we never know what somebody's body will do or not do and what kind of symptoms they're dealing with. So I said, I don't know what this will do for you, but I know what it did for me, and I want you to try this. And he got on it, and my brother's a skeptic. So he said, after about maybe 2 weeks on it, I said, Dean, what's happening? He said, I'm not going to say anything yet. I'm still perusing. I'm still checking it out. I don't know yet. About 4 weeks later, I call him, and he said, okay. He said, I've got to tell you, I'm about 80% back. I'm about 80% back. He said, my double vision is going. I'm being able to play 7 or 8 games of pickleball a day, and I'm being able to golf again. I said, oh my gosh. And then about 6 weeks later, my brother said, yeah. And he lost the strength in his jaw to chew. So he couldn't date. He couldn't do anything, guys. That was the quality of life he had been given. And he thought that's all he had. And then Cell Defender came into his life, and he's a lifelong Cell Defender enthusiast. He said, I'll never not be without it. So, and now he's on a few other products. He loves the Plus Energy chip.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, so I'm just thrilled about Cell Defender, and I share it with everyone. So thank you.
Thank you, Carol. So Wendy, So Wendy, what do you think? Do you think we should call it plus energy, plus focus?
Absolutely.
Right? Like if you have to do something hard, like you do, like I do horse appraisals, and sometimes I have to do like really intensive, like 36 horses and get the comps and all that. And it takes a lot of focus.
You know what I love the most?
And I'm probably I would say I'm probably somewhat, if they diagnosed people way back when, maybe I was dyslexic, but I love it because it really helps you focus. I think so. So I told Rik the other day, I think we should call it that, plus focus, not plus energy. Yeah, right? I mean, good stuff. So Chip, you with
For
us?
me, I like the hydration.
Oh yeah, the hydration.
I love it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so you're
It's
active.
103 here today.
Wow.
Oh, really? California?
Oh,
And tell
Yikes.
us, Wendy, tell us why you like hydration.
Because I feel like when I'm working physical like that, like like Christine was just saying, she's physical, but for me to keep going, I have to hydrate my body. And if I'm constantly having to run to the bathroom and I've torn out the bathroom, it's not a good idea. Like I it's a conflict going on there. So I like to be able to take the hydration. I feel like it gives me the hydration, that the water that I need. Before hydration, I would get leg cramps at night all the time. I don't have any more leg cramps at night. And I can tell when I don't take it. A couple days later, I'm like, oh, I got the leg cramps again. Because, it's 103. You're not like in air conditioning all the time, and you're sweating, you're going, you're working. And the only way you can really hydrate your body is through hydration plus. I love that stuff. For me, and it gives me energy. My body's properly hydrated and I get energy from it.
yeah.
Well, I agree. I agree. I'm a tennis player, and for sure, like my coach, who is the coach of the West Point girls team, like he said, well, you're hitting so much better. And I always tease him and I say, I'm drinking this stuff. So the hydration, I'm with you. Chip, why don't you join in with us? Chip, I'd love to have Chip Littlejohn with us tonight. Chip's got a lot of insight to what's going on in all of our bodies, and his mind is so creative. So Chip, we want to hear from you tonight, please.
Well, you guys are a wealth of inspiration, and just a little bit from Wendy and from Carol. So when Wendy is setting tile, we've just improved our vocabulary. Set tile, lay carpet, right? So we know that, but that's a real serious mental and physical outlay. I mean, there's a whole bunch of money being spent by somebody if you're setting tile, and you've got to cut it. And if you're cutting it, then all that goes up in the air. And if you breathe it into your lungs, it's just going to be there. It's called silicosis. And it actually accumulates in your lungs like mud. And unless you can cough it out, you just lose lung volume, let alone the toxic materials. And, I think you can just see by looking at Wendy, she's a pretty good physical specimen. The work she does and whatever else she does has been working for her. You can tell she's a young woman when she says 26 years is a long time. 26 years is not a long time for some of us, Wendy, because that's just a small portion of what we've been riding the earth.
I started late.
It's really neat for her to, yeah, okay, I gotcha. So neat for her to say exactly what Rik says. 90% of people whose legs move unintentionally at night or cramp at night are literally hydration problems, and they can't drink enough water to solve it because it goes into the tube, which is our guts, but doesn't get into the tissues where it calms the cramping. And so that little secret weapon of osmolality is what he's built into the Plus Hydration product, like Gatorade, that actually does what Gatorade's supposed to do. Is what it is. And you think about it, why can't you put that on a shelf? Well, if you mix it up, you'll see it's difficult to mix. And if you let it set, it starts gelling. Same way with our fiber. You couldn't mix this stuff up and put it in the cooler next to all the sugar drinks, right? Because it's transient, it's alive, it's moving, it's changing. It's a you know, it has a time frame that's rather short. After you mix it, you want to get it in, so it's doing its thing inside of you, not in a bottle. And I think that's important to know. Somebody can't steal that idea and put it on a shelf, because it moves too fast. The activity moves too fast. All right, over to Carol and her brother. You know, very similar personality. Wendy obviously likes to do athletic things. So does you know, a lot of us. But I don't know, what's your brother's name, Carol?
Dean.
Dean.
Brother Dean. Okay.
Brother Dean.
Well, when you aren't cruising chicks anymore, when you can't chew, when you lost your golf and your pickleball and you can't drive, right?
Right.
I mean, all those are neat things to do. And we started before we started the recording, and Carol asked if I'd come back and visit this again. His adventure machine was broke.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I mean, he's still, I'm sure, probably had a cool car and golf clubs and pickleball stuff, and knew some chicks he'd like to take out, and, you know, some food he'd like to eat. But if the adventure machine is shot, you're gone. I mean, how many wealthy people get all the stuff and the gadgets? I remember when Marcy and I had the RV place, and the people would come when one of them found out they were sick. All their life, they wanted to do this. Now they're desperate to finally live. Here we start right out, you know, beginning to improve people's physiological. Matter of fact, I listed, I only had 2 demands of our company before this week. Now I have 4. And the first demand I have for me, if I'm going to do something like this and work with a company like this, I want me to get better, right? I want my adventure machine to start working better. I want a hot rod, you know, chip. I want to get a better chip out of the deal. And that's the first thing that I want. Then I'd like to be able to look at it and say, well, that's not going to be an expense. That's going to be an income producing thing. I see a business that I could live off of here. You know, and if I'm going to be a professional doing this and take this on as a profession, that's the second thing. Number one, I want more of me. And number 2, I'd like to be able to do this for my work, because I prefer it to other kinds of work. And then the next thing is really one of the reasons I prefer it, and that's personal freedom. You know, when I knew I was going to go to the military, I didn't want to go to a huge unit like the 82nd Airborne. So I became their forward air control, a very tiny little unit where we traveled in, you know, 2, 6, or 12 guys, usually just 1 or 2 of us. And the personal freedom that you get when you work this, you can do it however you want. Wendy said, you know, her skills included social media. You know, I don't have a computer that I visit. I mean, maybe I go to a computer 3, 4 times a year.
Oh my God.
I'm just running off of an old phone.
Wow.
A worn out old phone with the glasses broken out of the camera. And you know, I've had it for a long time. It's one of those Samsungs. I think the model I got is the Hemidroid. Oh, Marcy liked that one. So,
Is that Marcy laughing?
apparently a lot of people have them. Apparently a lot of people have them. I don't know, but I thought maybe I had the only one. Anyways, and then the fourth thing that I demand from an opportunity like this is the community.
Yeah.
And you know, I obviously have a dear love for this particular Thursday night activity. I love to come to the Avini Vibes call. And until tonight, I swear to you, I didn't know whether Christine brought Carol or Carol brought Christine. You know, but now I hear the story. No wonder you like Christine so much.
Oh.
You know, and then what a gift for you and your brother and the people around you, and the capabilities you have.
And people you don't know yet.
Yeah, and the people you don't. Well, speaking about people you don't know yet, this is just kind of fun stuff. But guess what? The easiest way to become an Avini Diamond is marry somebody who's going to become one. She's sitting right over here.
Hi, Marcy.
She's the one that has all the attributes, really, not me. I just like the biology of it. And then the other thing is sponsor people that are better than you are. You know, look at Wendy Snow. She just talked to you through the social media thing as though she lives in there. I have not the foggiest idea. I fear Facebook for fear somebody's going to attack me and hijack me and, you know, steal all my contacts and send them a dirty message or something. I don't do it. Don't go there. She is able to run a business from there. And so, you know, I get to benefit some from her skills. So that kind of thing. Oh, goodness. I had a whole bunch of stuff you guys reminded me of, but I love that with the platelets coming up. You know, how do you do that? The doc was trying to do it with chemo. Well, chemo is going to kill a whole bunch of stuff. You know, you're just hoping you're killing the thing that's screwing up the platelets more than you're killing the good ones. And so there's two things that happen when you go back to that doctor. It's a big deal if he says, I don't need to see you as often, instead of every week or every 2 weeks or every month, every 6 months, you know, come back next year, come back in 2 years, come back in 5 years. That tells you that he sees you getting better. But in his case, in her dad's case, begin to back off on the prescriptions, right? Said, I don't think you need as much of this anymore. Well, that's a huge thing from him. And I would love to ask him, wouldn't you, how often do you get to do that with a patient where you're in the middle of chemo and you can start backing out because you're having so much success that all of a sudden the chemo is working so well? And guess what? Mom might have been right about the tuna. Tuna contains mercury. When you use Rik product, it uses the pollution that you accumulate through life, including the mercury, picks it up and gathers it so you're safe from it, but it weaponizes it against a bad cell like that. That bad cell, and only the bad cells, will ingest it, and it's like pulling a fire alarm, and it causes, we think, the tumor suppressing genes to double check their work. So it's just you being a better version of you. So the ultimate doc to me would say, keep doing what you're doing, if he knows what you're doing. But that to me isn't the ultimate doc yet. It's the one that says to somebody like Wendy, I'd like to have that result for all my patients. Your dad is the best patient I've ever had in his situation. I would like all my patients to have that result. And he's thinking, based on his career, that they're not going to get it because he's never seen it until now. Literally listened to one diabetic doc, and he went to a big conference and he was talking about something that was working. And one of the docs came up to him afterwards and he says, why do you even bother? I've been practicing almost 40 years and I've never, ever had somebody with sugar problems get well. Why do you even bother? Wow. Guy is making a career out of losing, for God's sake. Some of these guys out there, and when they get their family in trouble or they're in trouble, they'll come to you because they'd rather do what you did. That now they want to know what you're doing. Before, it would have collapsed their financial package at home because that's how they're making their house payment and paying for their education, paying for their car, is by administering the standard of care. But if you're sick, now it's your adventure machine that's screwed up. You don't want to hurt it to help it. You need Rik Deitsch. His concept is, what if we help it to help it? And that's probably way too much for tonight. But anyway, that's what I got, Christine.
Well, you know what?
I'm not done. I got lots more anytime you want it. Anytime you want it, I'm full of it.
Because the adventure machine, it's all about, that's what we're here for, right? We all have to like learn how we can help. Even I met with my doctor. I had 3 doctors on the phone the other day with Rik, and it's like the questions that were answered, he could fire off the answer. Why is the zeolite what it is? How do we clean it? All of those things. You can't take a dirty sponge and clean the table. You got to have a clean sponge. So Chip, thanks so much. And Wendy, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Before we go, Wendy, we always let our speaker close and say, give us words of wisdom.
Before you do, I got one more little thing that I got from you guys. And this is just a fun one on the business side.
Sure.
Okay. So that comment from Carol, is it legal? Right? Did you hear that? Carol asked Christine, this stuff you just gave me, is it legal?
Yes.
Well, this happens on the business side too. People will say, is this a pyramid scheme? And I just say yes.
Yes.
I find that totally diffuses it, because they were expecting you to, lower your eyes and go home. No, I love to work this way. Yes, it is. But one guy said, well, this is illegal. You guys are all going to go to jail. He said, I understand that. But he said, here, this is my income for this month. And he said, near as I can tell, the longest sentences are 2 years. And the guy looked back at him and he says, how sure are you about the 2 years? That's my business presentation.
There you go. I asked Eddie the same thing. My sponsor, he's on a plane right now flying to Boca because Avini connected them, and now he's in love with another Aviniite, and I think they're going to be getting married. But I see Steve Carroll has a question or a hand up. Steve, did you want to ask a question or comment? You have to unmute, please.
I think I'm already unmuted.
You are.
Hi,
Great.
Steve.
Christine, I just wanted to say thank you for giving me the last sheet that you had at the summit.
Oh, that's great.
And Chip for being on the calls with us every week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so you got your cards going, your colors going, your vision going. Like we can obtain this together. Like it's amazing. I had a call with MJ today with my daughter. Big stuff. Like we're going big places. So that's awesome. Alan, you have a hand up.
Yes, thank you. Back to what Chip said about the pyramid scheme. When people ask a question about that, they tend to think it's a negative. However, a pyramid is the strongest geometrical shape. The triangle is in building, it's great. And a scheme is a plan of action that works. So is it a pyramid scheme? Praise God, yes, and we embrace it completely. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. That's great. Don't be afraid of that question, right? Don't be afraid of the question. Amen. Like we tell everybody every day about a good restaurant, why not? Right? Just share it. So thank you. All right. Anybody else want to comment before we say goodnight? Wendy, we're going to let you close us tonight. And is it Shireen? Thanks for joining us tonight. Where are you from, Shireen?
Hi, I am in Florida. I haven't been speaking. I'm kind of working at the same time. So Carol invited me. Love Carol always, and thank you for. She actually did share her story with me a few years ago. So a bit of on the phone we were talking. So I was remembered. And Carol told me about this thing that worked for her.
Oh, so you're a guest tonight. So
yeah,
you're amongst many tonight. Like we're all believers because we experience.
Welcome.
Are you on the product yet? Are you on the product yet?
No. And I'm dealing with some issues, especially high blood pressure, which I thought I would never deal with, but it runs in my family and it's crept up on me in the past year and I'm not on anything and I don't want to do doctor's medicine. So I'm really trying to find something. So I reached out to Carol a few weeks ago and thanks for reminding me because I said I would try to get on, but I'll be working late. So I want to do that. And I'm also having some other ailments, which I don't know, from surgery that I had. And it seems like I don't know if, the stress of it all kind of brought the blood pressure on, as well as other things that I'm dealing with. So I really want to also really take a look at that too. But I want to see whatever I can get on to really assist with my blood pressure so I don't have to
Wonderful.
do this blood pressure medicine where they diagnose you and tell you have to stay on it for life. And I'm just not, it's not my story.
It won't be your story.
So just personally, my husband had a motorcycle accident and he basically went through the same thing with high blood pressure and we did the fiber. So I started him on the cell defender and started him on the fiber along with the mushrooms to like lower his immune response and his blood pressure. Like his doctor who he's had for 42 years, like when he had the accident, he came to the house with the black bag and like his blood pressure like normalized. So he was same thing. He didn't want to take the pill because we don't really take any pills, I don't even go to the doctor. And so amazing, because the fiber is so. Carol will help you with that. So we're really glad you're here tonight. Wendy, you have any comments? You probably dealt with some patients or clients with those issues.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a big deal. And the fiber just does so much more. It is a besides the hydration, it's another one of my favorite products because it can help you lose weight. It balance your sugars, your blood pressure. I mean, it does so many things. I don't like that they call it fiber. I wish they use a different word, because immediately people go fiber. I go, it's not Metamucil, it's not your grandma's fiber. It's so totally different. But they're like, oh, I'm regular, I don't need that. I go, it has nothing to do with that. Yeah, it just, so I try to call it something else. I try
That's
to
what
say,
I thought too.
I have this great product that you could take, and I just tell the benefits, and then I don't even say the name of it.
You know what Rik said to me when we were on the call the other day with the doctors? He says it's the healthiest bowl of cereal you could ever eat. So think of it that
And
way.
I love that.
Right? Healthiest bowl of cereal you could ever eat. So, try that before you try the fiber. Carol will hook you up and you do that.
Thank you.
So any questions you have, we're here for you. Okay.
Thanks. And I also thought about my dad who's in Jamaica, who's dealing with prostate. I have an uncle right now that's lost so much weight in his 80s. Like the pictures are just like, we're preparing for the worst right now because he keeps going in and out the hospital with seizures and not eating. And but my dad has these pains when he wakes up in the morning. And I know someone was mentioning on here about pains and muscle, and I thought about maybe I could try that with him. So
yeah.
So I'll definitely be trying some things.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Chip, what are your thoughts on this with your dad?
Well, earlier in the call, we talked about somebody who was in big trouble. And what are the very first signs that you're doing something right when you come to Avini? A lot of times it's mood, outlook, expectations, appetite, before you can ever measure it. In the first 4 days.
Yep.
Is when that happened, and that was in Carol's description. I think of herself, right? So think back to Carol's. There's your sponsor right there, Carol Witt, now stepping in for your dad, and I'm funny thing. I'm old enough to be everybody's dad on this call, I think, but oh well. But in the first 4 days, she said, and the stairs, went back to cooking, was able to do her own bathroom trips. Her mood, expectations, appetite, those oftentimes come before anything else. You begin to, and it was like, she talked about he was skeptic, right? And he hung on to it as tight as he could. But then he gradually became positively suspicious. Like, I think there might be something good here, but I don't want to tell anybody yet. I think there might be. You become suspicious there's something good here. And then, oh my gosh, if they've got that, what else have they got? If they're truly leading the world in heavy metal excretion and the reduction of misery and improving your blood test with a fiber, your next blood test, easy way to talk about fiber. People talk about this ingredient or that ingredient. Don't worry about it. Just use it. Go get your next blood test and then come back and tell me what you think of it. Because every person who uses it comes within parameters in their blood test for their sugar, their A1C, their inflammation, their blood lipids, their cholesterol, all those things come within balance. And it's because of the genius that's included in that undernamed fiber product. I like the Plus Energy could have been called Plus Focus. All of our products are undernamed. You only got 2 words. You can't say, saves the world. This one does too. I would be an encouragement to you, Shireen, that you're onto something that will be helpful to you and your dad.
And I love the Great Balancer for the fiber. If I was going to rename it, I'd balance it plus.
I love that.
I like that.
I do too.
I love that.
I swear by it. I love it. Love
That
it.
too. The healthiest bowl of cereal you'll ever eat. And he laughed like the smartest, funniest biochemist
could be called blood balance.
But Wendy,
Anyway.
yeah, right. All right.
Alan has his hand up. Are you wanting to?
Alan, your hand's still up, or is that from before?
Yeah.
One more thing, very fast.
Okay.
When skepticism, it's a natural reaction to things that you don't understand.
Mhm.
So what I tell folks when I find that they're skeptical about something, that's your body's self-defense mechanism kicking in. So what you should do is investigate that of which you're skeptical. Then you should be convinced one of two ways. If it's something you should stay away from it, run from it like it's the plague. If it's something that's really good, embrace it with every fiber of your being.
Woo! Love that. Love
Well
that.
said. Well said. Well said.
Yeah.
All right, Wendy, closing thoughts. It's your floor. You're going to leave us with some words of wisdom because you're our special guest tonight
You know,
in California.
thank you so much for having me. It was really nice. You know, I think we all have a duty and an obligation to make the world a better place. I believe that we should all be living out 100%, just like what Chip says, you know, the adventure machine. We have this obligation to live at 100%. We shouldn't be at 90. We shouldn't be at 80. We should be living just full out and financially and abundantly, health-wise and all of that. And there's only one way to get there. And that is through, number one, your paradigm shift, thinking about things differently. Like, maybe I don't know everything. Maybe this could help me. How could I, you know, juggle my finances to make this work? Because eventually, if I keep doing the same thing I've been doing, I'm going to be in the same spot that I was before. So, you know, you have to change things for things to get better. And that's your mindset. That's your everything about you. You just make that little tiny shift, that paradigm shift, and look at things differently, and your world will change. So that's all I have.
Just one click away of changing your life, right?
One click away.
All right, guys. Wendy, thanks for being our
Thank
guest.
you.
Thank you, everybody, for your insight tonight, sharing. God bless each and every one of you. Avini Vibes, go out and tell the world about it, okay? Because we can change it together. God bless. Good
Thank
night.
you, Shireen. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
I will
Good
be
night,
reaching out.
everybody.
Okay, thanks for the invite, Carol.
Christine, real quick. Is this recorded? Is this Zoom recorded?
It
Always.
is. Absolutely.
It is? Okay.
recorded. Yes.
I would love a copy of it so I could send it to those 3 girls that I'm
AviniHealthTraining.com, the shared Google Drive. It's on there.
okay, the
Just look
back
up the
office.
date.
That's
Okay.
where it is. That's where it is.
Good
Yeah.
night. Good night, everybody.
Everyone.
Good
Thank
night.
you. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.